Hey guys, you're here for Season 4, Episode 9, Turntable Turn, and Episode 10, Bunny Skull, Bunny Skull. Orange is the New Black, happening now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
The animal, trap, 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 till the cage is full. The cage is full, the day is new, and everyone is waiting, waiting on you, and you've got time.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Fine.
No, but I thought we were like in it together there. We were on a good key. That was pretty awesome.
I was like, wait, we'll know when to end, right? And that was perfect.
That was pretty incredible.
Harmony.
Woo. Harmony. Well, hey guys, I am Scott Moore. You can find me on the old Twitter at sman80. That's sman80. And to my left is the lovely.
Hey everybody, y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Woo! Yeah, and it's just the two of us.
Just the two of us tonight, but I have the chat up, and we have our girl Sterling in the chat already, as well as some others. Let us know what y'all thought. She really liked our singing. She said, "Wow, that was beautiful." Sterling did. But my mom always really tells me that I'm a really good singer, so.
Aww.
I am a really good singer.
That's right. If mom says if mom says you're a good singer, you're a good singer.
Exactly.
Woohoo! So now we're starting to get into it now.
Yeah.
These episodes 9 and 10, we're getting closer to the finish line of the season.
I'm scrunching my nose because of the just gross stuff that happened.
Oh yeah. I know we're kind of talking about it off camera, but because nobody heard that, it didn't really actually happen.
Exactly.
So we're kind of talking about exactly what the game was that Maritza was playing and why all of a sudden Humps, the CO, I call him Humps because that's sort of his nickname, but where all the whole nasty game came from.
So it seems like clearly he's just messed up in the head. Like we learn, later in episode 10 where they say that he found a cockroach and instead of, killing it or throwing it out or whatever, he put it in the blender. Yeah. So like he literally is just messed up. But they were playing the game Would You Rather, and I was telling you it's a game my friends and I play. Sure, everyone does all the time.
Yeah,
and we have come up with some weird stuff, like probably actually weirder than eating a mouse or flies. Like I've probably said to eat some weirder stuff than that. Maybe the mouse is really weird though. But for him to like clearly he's just so messed up. He heard that little moment and he knew that he had something on her because he, heard her say whatever or follow me to the guy last week whenever she thought that they were about to get caught, but he literally caught that and then decided he really wanted to see what she would rather do. It chills just every time I think about it. It
just was creepy and bizarre, and I've played the game before, but nothing like that. And like you said, that's like a whole other level.
It's like, would you rather George Clooney or Brad Pitt?
Yeah,
that's a very tame,
that's what I'm saying. It's like those type of things, not this. I guess I was just trying to figure out what his motives really are.
I don't know what people just out there to torture think. Them. Yeah.
But it's just beyond though. It's because obviously we knew he had overheard because he could speak Spanish and he overheard what was going on. And so I kept thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to get caught. And what is he going to have? And what is he going to do to hold it over her? And you think it's something sexual or something like usual, like a CO wants something in return. But this is like a whole other level. And I'm trying to figure out what exactly his motive is and what he's hoping to get out of her. I don't know what everyone else out there thinks, but
yeah, definitely let us know what y'all think. I think it's just like this first sprinkling, even though we've seen stuff like we've seen some dark stuff like with Sophia and the shoe and everything, but I think it's like the first sprinkling of like we're about to let you know exactly how messed up this is about to get. Yeah, because forcing someone to eat, I was about to say what I would have done, but yeah. And Sterling says he's a psycho. Maritza's storyline is killing me right now. And me too, because she just, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. She's just suffering a lot right now.
She is. And I will admit it right here. I've eaten some crazy food, but that's when you're out traveling and you go, but never anything like that. I mean, definitely.
No, I don't think that's a delicacy in any country.
No.
I watch it probably is. And I got that so wrong. But it's just weird. And no, it's just, I feel awful for her.
But besides that, this episode, I mean, we'll get more into detail with Maritza and everything, because I do think she definitely is going through a lot. But in this episode too, we got to learn about Blanca / Bianca.
Yeah.
Bianca and her backstory, which was way different than I love that we're getting to see a lot of these backstories now. And again, like we were talking with Jolene last week, and it's fascinating to me about how the writers decide, these whole stories of these characters. And that was one too I would never ever think of.
No, I didn't even necessarily get hers, or I didn't get why in the end she just ended up, banging the guy in front of the old lady. I guess just to show her this is, I'm gonna do whatever and you're not gonna be able to blackmail me. But I would have never guessed that either, because she came off as so just sweet, and she's being paid to be an aid to this lady. I don't know what the actual term for it, like a hospice worker or something like that.
Yeah, or like a caretaker and home nurse or something like that. I mean,
much better than hospice worker.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we don't know. I don't know if she was dying or if she was just needing. It sounded like at least she just needed in home because she didn't want to move out of into a nursing home, and she was trying to spite her daughter and everything. I mean, it was very. Again, what's great about it is they make this character like Millie. They make this very real. Like there are a lot of elderly people that want to stay in place in their homes, and they don't want to move to a nursing home. They want to get rid of their independence. And she was that difficult, cantankerous old lady that was very, probably running everyone's patience very thin. Like even I was sitting there thinking oh my God.
No, yeah. She was annoying, but I was also the part where she said, you're very close to getting this house whenever I die. I'm like, okay, so you
play your cards right, wait it out.
That is a really nice house.
Well, and that was kind of my thing too. Is she's like, oh, so now I'm just supposed to shut it down with the all that and the.
I'm like, yes, or go somewhere else.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Like, come on, girl, I get that she's annoying and of course, but you signed up for this job.
Right.
Like, if you just hold out. But I thought it was really well done, and I was still trying to figure out the end, though, because by the very end, the last scene we saw of that backstory, it seemed like Millie was scared of her.
Well, and I didn't understand why she would be scared just because she saw her having sex in her bedroom. Clearly, it was an FU moment.
Right, she heard her in the middle of the night, but it was when she came in and said, oh, what do you want to wear, today, the pink thing? It was she just seemed very... So again, that was one thing where I was trying to figure out what happened and what did they do to get her to the point to where she was so scared.
Well, that's what I mean. I don't understand why she would be in my mind. That was the next day, after this had happened
that's
in her bedroom.
What it appeared to
so
be.
I'm I don't understand why she would be scared of her. If anything, I thought she was gonna flip out.
Right.
But it also makes me wonder. I mean, and maybe not with everyone, but most of the time we find out what people did that ultimately got them into jail, and we don't know what she did. So now, I mean maybe we've heard that before in the show and I just don't remember actually.
No,
so if y'all remember, definitely tell me.
Yeah, no, seriously, because I know she was kidding, and obviously I wouldn't think she'd be in low security prison if she actually killed her. Yeah. Because she made that joke about killing her husband to Dario at one point, and I started thinking is that what happened? But then I thought, why would she have done that? She's this old lady's Millie's an invalid basically, and have to be what would she get out of that? Because unless she did something sneakily and she thought it wasn't a full-on murder and she was going to be able to get the house or something. I don't know. So I'm fascinated to know, because we really didn't get that conclusion, and I didn't get why Millie was so scared of her by the end, and how she had gotten that power, and she had that whole confidence about her. Blanca did, which was fascinating.
I think what we're supposed to think is that because Blanca was just so brazen and literally looked at Millie during it, that was supposed to be okay, I'm gonna do whatever, so what I say goes. I'm the one taking care of you. But
I'm in
control. To me, it didn't read that. I was she should have done something to her.
Yeah. That's exactly.
I don't know. I kind of hope we see more on that.
Yeah, I think it'll be good to get a follow-up to that. But I love the backstory. I love the whole thing of her with Dario, and I just thought it was a really good dynamic, and it was a really interesting story, and something very different from all the previous other women's backstories.
Okay, little tidbit that I didn't remember. Sterling just says, she said maybe she killed Millie, and then she said, but also remember Dario Mario from season 1, he was the one who Blanca was sexting from that phone that Piper got her hands on.
That's right. Yes.
Maybe they killed Millie together?
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, because it was sort of that hint when she joked with him when she met him about, oh yeah, I killed her husband kind of thing. So I was like, is this supposed to be a joke that we're supposed to assume that they did, and he had his criminal past? But it wasn't 100% clear to me, and I still was curious about what happened to change the dynamic that quickly, and Millie was now scared of her.
Yeah.
Great backstory, though. I loved it. I thought it was really fun, and I really have thought these stories have been the best yet of any of the seasons, really. Me too. Because, we had Lollies a couple weeks ago, too, a couple episodes ago.
Still my favorite, I think.
Was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, just so great. And that whole montage scene, everything about her and the casting, everything was beautiful. Mm-hmm. And, we had Jolena, and I want her character's backstory too, because I want to know what got her character in prison, as we were saying. So it's made it a lot of fun. Yeah. They've done a really great job. The other thing that I loved about this too is the whole intro where we opened with Judy King and the girls knowing that basically she used them, which I thought was brilliant too.
Exactly.
For the whole picture. I mean, that whole line, the storyline is so funny.
And their little meeting with Caputo, where they have to pretend. She's like, "This is real," because he knows, or he obviously suspects, y'all did this, or you did this, whatever. Yeah. She's like, oh no, this is real love. But I think about how many people have gotten in trouble for having relationships with one another in the past, and of course Judy King just gets to do what she wants.
Oh yeah, she gets away with it because she's such a good manipulator, and
and everyone's they're loving it. Mm-hmm. But so Loose Check is in charge of getting them the check from whatever paper published a photo. I have a feeling they're never gonna see that money, because all the girls are so excited. They're like, my commissary is gonna be filled. Heck yes. And I don't think they're ever gonna end up seeing that.
Yeah, especially with Loose Check being the one in charge of that. Good luck with that.
Although he's seemed to redeem himself a little bit in my book recently, or now that we see the moments that we saw in episode 10. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of like, oh, Loose Check, but I don't know. Yeah, I doubt they'll end up getting it.
I doubt it too. But yeah, it's because we do find out in the episode that it was his phone.
Right.
That's what we were trying to figure out. And
I thought it was what's her face's phone.
No, remember he was worried about being caught.
I thought just because he sent it out.
Yeah.
Okay, it was his phone too.
Yeah, no, not. That's the other thing with sister and all that. Yeah.
No, I'm thinking, I thought he was, he just used the phone that, actually, or, contacted the people.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I mean? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought they took the phone on, I can't think of her name right now, but Heather.
Right, but he was involved in making sure it got out. So he would be implicated with his phone, and that's what he was saying when Piscatella wanted him to head up looking up the phones. Do you think Piscatella knew that he was involved, or do you think that was just a total coincidence thing?
I think it was total coincidence. Yeah. I think Piscatella is just you're an idiot. You don't do anything, so you do this.
Well, because he basically talked down to him and said, yeah, you should be working at a GameStop, which I'm like, by the way, what's wrong with that? I mean, it was such a put down. He really has gotten to a point, too, which I'm wondering about his character, of just really kind of taking over his whole abuse of power now as well. Yeah. Since Caputo's sort of been out of the picture of running the day-to-day, he's been taking over and now, getting a little out of control.
Honestly, he was kind of the one that, I mean, obviously he does certain things that are awful and that we hate, but he was kind of the one that I was like, okay, at least you're not trying to rape these chicks. At least you're not doing these other things to them. But
I mean, on the other hand, it's he's gay, so maybe if he was working at a male prison, it would have been different. True. I don't know.
Yeah, very true.
I'm just saying that's keeps him out of it. And I could say that because I'm gay, but no, but the fact that he doesn't have that temptation there.
Yeah.
But he's definitely getting that abuse of power that is now getting more and more, and I'm wondering where this is going to go, because now we've only seen through episode 10. So these last 3 episodes, what's going to happen? Because he's really just kind of running the show here in Caputo's absence.
I don't know. I have a feeling it's not going to be good stuff.
No,
that's
not
for sure.
At all. No.
And did the conversation with Piper happen in 10 or 9? I think it happened in 10.
Did it happen? Now, this is why we do them together now, because realistically, it's hard to kill. Because I'm like, no, I think that was this episode, but no.
I think it was episode, but either way, he's on a power trip, and I just feel like Caputo should be there. Like I know he's a higher up, and he doesn't deal with the day to day, but like this was his. I don't know. I feel like this is his place, so don't let all these new people come in and just completely F it up.
Yeah, and he's involved, but in a way, Caputo's involved, but in a way that is less hands-on, because you would think that he would want to be involved. That's like his prison. Like, he's been there. I feel it's odd that he wants to take control on certain things, but then he's sort of not as clearly involved day to day, and it is a big difference this season.
True.
With the enrichment program we wanted to do for the women and all these other things he wants to do, but somehow he's noticeably absent. And
he just has no idea what's going on at those little houses in the back. No idea that everyone's just like hammered drunk.
Right, which is the biggest disaster. And I think that's also going to come to a point too, that something's going to happen.
Well, and that was his idea to do those houses.
Right. So that's, and it was him and Linda, which we didn't see really anything with her.
I did not miss her absence.
In either of the episodes. So I always find it, because sometimes you'll notice, sometimes, like Lolly won't be in or someone else won't be in, you'll notice, but I didn't really notice, not having her there.
Lolly wasn't in episode 9, and I did miss her.
I did, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain characters, if you don't see them, you do miss them.
But speaking about the cabins, though, how about when Maritza just completely calls out the guy in the woods, saying that he's the gardener?
Yeah.
I actually thought that was a smart way to get out of it. Maybe a little soon after, she said that she didn't want to do anything anymore because she was afraid of getting in trouble. But, I mean, getting the guy arrested who was who was bringing them in the drugs, because but she did it cleverly. Like, isn't that so weird that there's a gardener here when there's on staff crew for free, basically?
Yeah.
He wears really nice shirts.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that kind of odd? Yeah, I mean, that was her kind of diversion in that sense to make sure, because she's it's the same thing that's happening with Maria with this abuse of power, which is kind of a common thread amongst all the characters, and has been really since season 1. But seeing Maria is becoming scary.
Yeah,
just the way she runs everything.
You're like the sweet girl who wants her baby to visit all the time. Like, and who are you?
Now she's turned into this very scary. And so Maritza is really worried and is trying to do anything she can to get out of this situation. And for her, that was the easiest way out.
Right.
Little did she know that Humps already kind of knew what was going on and knew that they were connected, and it wasn't, anything different.
Exactly.
So,
well, I mean, he spoke Spanish. He had no idea. But it's just weird to see Maria rise so quickly to power. I mean, I guess if you have the stuff that everyone wants, obviously it's going to happen. But seeing the people walk up to her and be like, the white girls want 7 o'clock on this day because they want to watch this show, and she is just running things right now.
Yeah,
but I guess that's what being a drug lord does. I don't know. Seems a little weird, but it's working for her.
Yeah, no, it's working right now, and she actually is legit scary. Watching her run everything, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. This episode too is where you're going to remember his name in just a sec. He apologizes to Doggett.
Oh, Coates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, no, he apologized to her last week.
Right.
But then she is kind of dealing with it this week. And even, I think I said last week, I'm like, oh, he really did seem genuine, yada, yada, yada. But as soon as she starts to tell Boo about it, I'm like, oh, no. This is bad. Yeah. Because you can just tell that she's falling for it. Yeah. And not to say that people don't deserve forgiveness, but Boo definitely had some really good points. No, he doesn't get to, he has to feel sorry for forever that he did this terrible thing.
Yeah, doesn't mean he can get away with it.
Yeah. But then, you can just tell Doggett she's just going to crawl right back in there. She's like, well, doesn't he deserve forgiveness? He could be a normal person who just messed up. But the thing is, he didn't just mess up once. It was multiple times.
Right, it was multiple times, yeah. So it's sort of okay, well, even one time I just have a hard time.
Of course.
Even feeling oh, that's okay.
Right. Well, it's definitely not okay.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Forgiving-wise, I'm even that just seems extreme. But the fact that he had carried this on multiple times and is that messed up, it's just all that's really sad. And the problem is that she experienced that so much in her life that she doesn't, I don't want to say she doesn't know any better, but she was used to being treated that way, and it's horrible. But it's hard for her, I think, and she also does feel, I think she feels a connection towards him, like she said.
Yeah.
So you add all that together, and it makes it very challenging, and that happens in not even just with something as extreme as that, but just in unhealthy relationships in general.
Yeah.
Where people just feel, you know, either sorry for the person, or oh, they won't do it again, or make those excuses, and it's really, really hard when you're in a difficult relationship kind of environment like that. Well, it really is.
She even says, she's like, we're gonna see each other every day, both of us live here.
Right.
Well, I guess he does live there,
right? Because he lives off the
right. But I mean, Boo was like, if you go back to him, or if you engage with him, I'm done with you.
Right.
I don't think she would ever be fully done with her, because I think she's always gonna kind of protect her. But I also think that her kind of taking a stand and being like, no, this is not okay. I mean, obviously, Doggett has to live her own life, but if everyone was just like, oh no, he apologized, yay,
it's okay.
that would be
I think
not good for her.
Boo had to give her an ultimatum. I think that's sort of like the friend kind of putting it in check and saying, look, you need to leave this guy. You know, if it was in the real world, anything, if you're with your girlfriends and someone's saying you need to leave this guy, and if you keep going back to him, it's like, I can't do this anymore. If you decide to go back with this guy, then either you can't come back and complain to me. You can't, whatever. This is your choice, because I've told you need to get away from him. Yeah. If your friend is like telling you that, I think there is a point to where your friends need to give you an ultimatum and say, look, you need a reality check. Yeah. And if you decide to keep doing this, don't come running back to me, kind of thing. And that was sort of what she was saying. And in a lot of ways, I get it. The other thing that was going on in this episode too is there was this closeness, this closeness with Alex and Piper again. And I'm like,
trying to get their burger.
Yeah.
See,
that was making me hungry now, talking about Shake Shack. I'm like, I want burger now.
I can have that right now. And it was, I've never had Shake Shack though, so I gotta try that out. But then C.O. Bailey, he's getting in on the action. He's like, oh yeah, I'll get you that for a hand job.
Yeah. They're like, oh, they grew up so quick.
Right.
But just seeing them kind of get close together again, I'm like,
See, I like it.
It's just the back and forth thing that just.
Well, no, the back and forth thing is annoying, sure, but I like it because I'm like, who else are their characters gonna be really, really close to? Like they can develop these other relationships, of course. Right. Like Nikki's thrown in there every now and then, Red's thrown in there, Lolly, but they're the closest out of everyone. So I think it's just like where the story goes naturally.
Yeah, I'm still just the two of them getting close together.
They weren't making it seem romantic to me. It was definitely a friendly.
It was, but it was still just the fact that they were getting close together again made me think, oh God, here we go again.
Right.
And then let's get swirled up in their drama again, and just that was my only thing. But you're right. I mean, on the onset, it was nicely done where it felt good. It wasn't too intense or romantic.
Right. It wasn't like. It didn't make me feel at all like, oh, they're trying to be they like joked about sex stuff for a little bit, but that was just a joke, clearly.
But it still, I was thinking, still annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's okay.
I mean, I just thought, not again. Yeah. Guys, you're driving me up the wall with your craziness and your back and forth, and
hopefully we won't see much of that.
Yeah.
I hope not. What happens with Nikki today? Or in episode 9?
Well, that was part of the thing too, where, Alex, and again, I did like that because it was like Piper went to Alex about her concerns about Nikki, and then you had the other thread that Red gets to know that she's back on stuff, and that was
when they were in the cafeteria.
That was a really intense too. But everyone knows, like Morella knows that she's back on it. She's like, "What's wrong with you? You can hardly keep your head up." And
I mean, she was clearly just like cracked out or withdrawing. I don't know what she was whenever they were in the cafeteria, but
it was just, and she said she was trying to go through withdrawals, like she was trying to quit cold turkey again. Right. But I feel like we know that she's really not, and that she's definitely struggling, and it's just that whole thing is just it's really sad.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of confused at first when Red just sort of like walked away out of the cafeteria. Yeah. But then again, I think she knows that she can't like flip out in that moment because that's not going to help Nikki, and that's not what she responds to whatsoever. So I don't know. It's sad, and everyone's kind of everyone feels a little responsible for it.
Right.
Even though they shouldn't. Like, it is on Nikki. I mean, she was in the shoe and Max for a long time, but.
Well, I mean, that moment that they had too when they were in the bathroom alone.
Yeah.
That was actually sort of a heartbreaking scene, and Red's crying, and I think she's also the point too where I don't feel like she even knows what to do anymore.
Yeah. Just to see Red cry, like, that's huge.
Yeah.
She's only ever been super tough. I mean, like, even when she was like beat to a pulp in the hospital, she was still, like a little timid, but mostly tough. And to see her just like completely break down, it's awful.
Break down and have that moment, and just the one-on-one with her, and just kind of seeing that, and it was because she really does care about Nikki, and I think that this happens a lot, when you're having to deal with someone that's struggling, an addict or other things. It's like sometimes you're just not equipped to be able to help someone, and you get to the point you're like, what can I do? And you're afraid you're going to lose this person.
Right. And it's their family. I mean,
right. That's right.
And so she's like, what are you going to do? You're going to kick me out of the family. You're going to do this. No, I mean, Red just wants to help her,
and she wants her to be better. And it's like she understood, and she kind of overlooked knowing when she realized she was the one that was stealing her stuff to trade. It really is heartbreaking. But the thing is, we keep seeing her go through this. Excuse me. You see Nikki kind of get better for a while, and then take a couple steps back, get better, take a couple steps back, and it's you just wonder how much longer can that last. There's either she's going to finally get better, or she's going to get much worse. So
exactly.
I kind of worry about her.
I missed this comment from Sterling, but I am just like shell shocked right now, because she said, we all know I don't love Piper, but seeing her with Alex, she's way more normal / likable.
No, I totally agree with Sterling. I mean, that was the thing is in this particular episode, or in these two episodes, Piper seems more like the Piper we knew from the beginning.
Exactly.
At the season 1, not trying to be something she's not being crazy or whatever. She just felt like normal. And that was the one good thing I thought about the closeness that she was having with Alex, is it didn't feel forced, and it wasn't like they were trying to get something out of it. I just was thinking, oh, here we go again. I'm getting closer. That was what I was thinking, but she's absolutely right. I liked this Piper. This was the Piper that we've known and loved from season 1, from the earlier seasons. Yeah. Not the direction that she was going in that was just getting so far off base that it was ridiculous.
Right. That's pretty much it for that episode, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had, obviously we had Alita, who was getting out, though. That was another big storyline. Alita was getting out in 2 days, and trying to figure out what she was going to do. And, you have Alita, you have Daya, and Gloria. Mm-hmm. And
I loved the moment with Alita asking Gloria to take care of Daya.
Yeah, she's like, she's your daughter now, basically. And, I do feel, in a way, Gloria has that responsibility, not just to Alita, but I think she feels that way as like her prison daughter as well. You remember whenever Daya was pregnant, for the longest time, she wouldn't go to Alita at all. She only wanted to go to Gloria, because Gloria isn't as harsh and was just more loving toward her. Yeah. So this is, it's kind of like the natural thing. She has been. She's been more of a mom in a lot of ways, and we've seen that in the past with Alita, is that Gloria's been more of a mom figure to Daya than Alita. Yeah. Because she wasn't capable of being the mom, that maternal instinct that Daya needed at the time. And you've seen that with their relationship, because it's frayed. And even before she was getting out of prison, it was sort of like Daya didn't know how to deal with it exactly. Yes, there was definitely that moment that we knew she was trying to be tough on the outside because she was sad. But there was definitely some struggles there in how to deal with it. For sure. So we had that going on. But that was great. That was a great scene. I love the whole daughters. Yeah, they're the worst.
Well, no, they're not.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they are.
The other funny thing too was like kind of going on what we were talking about with Judy and Cindy and their fake relationship. And again, that scene was so great with Caputo. But then they have that later scene with them up in their room with Yoga Jones, which was like they're having like a tea party kind of thing. Yeah. Their little teacups. I mean, that was such
and
a
Yoga
funny,
Jones hates it.
Such a funny scene. Yeah. I mean, it's just.
She's like, don't you think they'll steal?
Yeah. She's like, who cares? And the whole So-So and Pusey thing where So-So's like, oh, now we're not the. We're not the it couple, the interracial couples. They're like now the Jay-Z and Beyonce, and we're the Kim and Kanye. That was so funny.
So.
It was such good to have those lighthearted moments, and I was cracking up on that whole scene again, with Caputo, because we didn't go into detail with that, but the whole June to October comparison. Yeah. She's like, yeah, it's like, we're May to December. And then she's like, you mean more like June to October.
Because that's how long she'll be in prison.
Yeah, that was really funny. And of course, we can't forget about Sister trying to go in and save Sophia, which I thought was so great.
She's been trying to get herself put in the shoe. Yeah. And so the thing is, normally she did some stuff that would normally put her right in there, but they only have a couple of rooms left in the shoe, so they're like, deal with your stuff. It's only like if it gets terrible. Mm-hmm. So she like smokes in front of people and just does crazy stuff, and the only thing that gets her kicked and put in the shoe is when she slaps Gloria.
Which was great too, because
she's like, all right.
It was awesome how they all kind of played along, everybody played along, and I thought that was great. It was so well done.
Oh, yeah. I think that was that in episode 10?
Probably. No, I think that was...
that
was in 9. Yeah, because she went to shoe after that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
No, that happened in 9. That's what I thought was really great. And then we had, Blanca getting in trouble. So the other thing that they were doing in this episode, because there was so much that happened in this episode.
Are we still on episode 9?
Yeah, where they had they were stinking themselves up, so, for the frisking and everything. Oh,
yes, and she put, like, oyster sauce on her.
All that nasty food and...
Well, so he makes her stand on the table because she wasn't listening to him about taking a shower. Yeah. He's like, you're not getting down until... you apologize to me. And I'm like, that's it was just the weirdest way to punish someone.
Well, and then you just think about like inhumane treatment kind of thing. Yeah. It just feels like, okay, well now because they're in prison, again, it's sort of this power trip that it's power run amok here. And now she just is forced to stand up there. And
And she he's using the bathroom up
there. Of course, because what else is she supposed to do?
Because she's so stubborn.
Yeah, but
she could just get down and say I'm sorry. Yeah. But she's not going to.
No, that was. But that was also very difficult to watch because it was just the power trip thing, and then the other CO says to him, "Well, I think you made a mistake," because he basically said it was like an impulsive punishment thing, and the other guy was right. I mean, he did make a mistake because now
she's not getting down.
Yeah, so. But yeah, so before we end episode 9, we were talking about humps and everything. This was the part where at the end where Maritza's basically, he puts a gun to her head. I mean, that got pretty intense pretty fast. Yeah. So something's going to come to a head here with the out of control COs and the prisoners, and I don't know. We're getting closer and closer. We only have. After 10, we only have 3 more episodes left.
I know.
And again, it's like I remember in previous seasons where I'm like thinking, what are they going to do with just 3 episodes left? So I have a feeling they're just going to be crazy last 3 episodes.
Oh, I know. So. Well, in episode 10, we see her really dealing with it, and she has this moment, or she's just like constantly throwing up in the showers, and I mean, obviously, she just had to swallow a baby mouse. And then we see that moment with her later in the episode, where she's telling the story and is talking about how she could like feel it.
Oh, I know.
It's no need for me to recap that wonderful tale.
When she was telling Flocka that, I was like, oh, when she felt the toes. Oh.
Yeah. But it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy. And Sterling mentioned earlier in the chat, she's like, I can't believe that the 2 other COs clearly know that something happened. Yeah. And that they just kind of brush it off like, oh, well, we don't have proof. Right. Which, I mean, it's
like that looking the other way thing.
A lot of stuff.
Right. That happens so much in anything. It's like, oh, let's look the other way. We don't want to deal with it, you know? Right. So, yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like we always talk about, it's so relevant to people just like not that, I mean, forcing someone to eat a baby mouse or 10 dead flies is not relevant, I hope, to current times. But, I mean, like the point of it is
right.
Anyway.
That abuse of power and everything is definitely relevant. But now that we are talking about episode 10,
Yeah.
You know, this is Alita's release day, and the other thing that was great about this particular episode, instead of going to a backstory, we're now threading the current story of Alita and how she's navigating being out of prison for her like first day.
Well, everything I just kept thinking, I'm like, oh, don't get put back in, don't do anything bad. When she's finally out, and it's her ex. I don't know if she was married to him or if they were just dating.
Cesar's baby mama.
It's his new baby mama that's picking her up.
I mean, how awkward is that?
It's just like a tangled web of messed up stuff.
It's so messed up. And it was also sad that she really didn't have anyone else that she had to basically resort to. And she's made that clear, because before she got released, she was saying, I don't have anyone on the outside. Right. My whole family's in here. And
we know now that she has this cousin that she'd been trying to reach that could have or that had like money of hers and her shoes and clothes and stuff that she could have reached, but the cousin isn't answering her phone. And then I'm just like, it's got to be so...
Jasmina,
right? Okay. She hasn't been answering her phone. And
of course, because she's avoiding her. Because she knows that she has money that's owed to her and she can't pay her.
Well, but I thought it was like nice of... I forget her name now. Cesar's baby mama.
That's all I know.
That's
I
what
can't
we'll call her. Cesar's girl.
I don't even know what... Yeah, I don't know. I can't remember her name, and she wasn't really mentioned by name.
Yeah.
She didn't call her by name during this episode, so it's the same thing.
But when she took her to that store to buy something, you know, they went to like a restaurant.
Yeah, they went to a diner, which was great. And she has her freak out moment.
Well, she only has like $40.
I know.
Where else can you go?
Yeah.
But I thought, I'm like, oh gosh, she's gonna run out with a dress, and they're gonna arrest her, and she's gonna be right back in.
That's what I thought too. But I think part of it, I was thinking the same thing as you were, and I was thinking, well, maybe she wants to be sent back because now she's starting to realize she doesn't have anything.
Right.
And when she runs out, and you know that scene when she runs out from the baby mama, I thought, wow, maybe she's going to realize she just needs to go back to prison, because what is she going to do? She's out on her own.
Exactly.
And I even wrote that in my notes here. It's like, out, where's she go next? Like, realizes she's completely alone.
Yeah. Well, it just, I'm having all these flashbacks of Tasty.
Yeah.
Tasty being released and then immediately coming back in, not because she didn't have anywhere else to go, but she didn't. And that got her into a situation, which then led her to be put back into prison, obviously.
I mean, recidivism rates are very high, and it goes back to a lot of things is like we were saying, you have structure, you have family, quote unquote family in prison, you have 3 squares a day, you have a shelter, and you go back out, and it's that stigma of not being able to get a job, you know, and we saw this as Alita herself is struggling, like, what can I do now? What can I do as a career? And, and it's going to be interesting to see, will she be able to stay out of prison, or will she get herself in trouble? Is she going to start going back on the underground to just make money? Because now, of course, she doesn't have any money. Because Jasmina has money and can't pay her back.
I literally thought she had no money this whole time. Like, I didn't know, which obviously they've never addressed it, so how would we know? But I thought she was literally going out with, like, nothing. Yeah. So it's just, like, heartbreaking to hear that she had maybe, like, a little something saved up. And then it's just completely gone because Jasmina had to go to the ER, and then her husband or boyfriend or whoever
she
got
claims
arrested.
That, but
well, exactly.
I was like,
her
okay,
asthma was acting up.
Yeah, what was really happening?
Your copay is not that expensive.
Right.
You do not have to spend all that money.
Well, one hand, we don't know how much money she had.
Exactly.
And then
I imagine like a couple $1,000. That's the amount in my mind.
That's what was in my head too. But two, I was thinking, okay, what's really going on here? You know,
well, I'm sure they just spent it.
Of course.
I mean, they sold all of her stuff except for her shoes. Like clearly, they were just in it for the cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she does. I mean, she offers her. She says like, you can stay with us. Like we can even share the bed, just like old times. So I was so happy to see that Alita left and went back to Cesar's baby mama's
Although that
house.
was not even better alternative though. That was like depressing too.
It was, but to me it was less depressing than Jasmina's house.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this other woman is on her own too.
Yeah.
Like maybe they'll become friends, and maybe I don't know what this other woman's talents are, but maybe they can do something together. You know.
Such a
Margarita is her name. Thank you, Sterling.
Yes.
And it is also her favorite drink, and also my favorite
drink as well.
We need margaritas.
Yes, exactly. I was like, I know her name, but I can't remember it. I know we don't have much time left, so we have to go through everything pretty quickly, and this is what always happens. But you know, we see, which I thought also was incredible, with Sister and Shu being able to get that note.
I rewatched it 3 times.
I know, that whole
I'm
thing.
Like,
what?
I'm like, each prisoner was pushing it out to another?
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, they're brave because they know how much trouble they'd get in if they did that.
Exactly.
And we officially see Sophia before the note, I think. Or no, this is when the note happened. And now we know that she slit her wrist.
Yes.
We still don't know how or the what, but we just know that she did.
Right.
Probably with like the magazine paper.
I guess with the magazine. I don't know. I don't know the whole thing. And I'm still fascinated to know what was in that letter.
Me too. Because she looked, maybe it was just, I feel like it's something like, hey, just an encouraging thing.
Yeah.
Because we know that the reason that they're having so much trouble getting Sophia out, well, no, we kind of still don't know that. But the whole like lawsuit thing with MCC is because they're like, how can you prove that she's been in there for this long? Because there's no paper trail of it. And so that's what they're trying to figure out. And we even see my boy Caputo get in on the action.
Yeah.
I was, all of his non-redeeming qualities,
then he does
I was
something
just
nice.
like, thank you. That's the nicest that he's ever done. He literally, he gets the phone because, like you were saying earlier, sister gets caught in the shower with the phone that she's stuck up.
Her hoo-ha, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm like, what is the eloquent way to say this? I don't know.
The whole thing with that too was odd because wasn't that part of what? Like it felt, that she wanted that to happen, and the whole thing was just interesting.
Yeah.
So she gets in trouble. He grabs the phone. At first I was like, what is he doing? Like, why is he taking a picture? Like, what is he going to do with this? When that was happening.
They need the proof. She's in there.
No, right. And I knew that, but I was like, why is he doing it on that phone? I guess because he can't do it from his phone.
Oh, right. Because that would incriminate him.
Right. And then I'm like, how is this going to, like, I was trying to figure out how the connection was going to be, that it was going to now end up getting to the right hands to be able to get out there. So the whole Danny meeting thing, I was not expecting that. I don't know if you were.
I was neither. I just thought he was going to like send it to someone somehow.
That's
or
what I
like leave the phone in a mailbox or whatever.
Like that was very interesting because I was not figuring that out at all.
It makes sense though because Danny has the following and Danny has the people behind him that will like make this a bigger thing deal. Because he's going to give it to Sophia's ex-wife.
Yes. No, now I'm totally blanking
Sterling,
on her name.
I know you know her
Sterling,
name.
come on.
So,
something with a C, and now I'm blanking.
I'm like, C?
But yes, he will make sure. But I was not expecting that, and I thought that was a really awesome way to kind of get that out there.
Yes. Sterling says, hey Caputo for keeping Sophia and sister in shoe, but love him for getting that pic to Danny. Hopefully it does some good.
Yeah,
but he's not keeping her in there. It's the main people in charge of him that are keeping her in there, right?
Well,
but it flows down to him.
It does, it is his fault. And then the sister and shoe thing was a little odd too. I was like, come on, she really.
But can he really just let her out after she gets caught doing all the things that she did? I mean, hopefully not for long.
To me, they seem minor to me, but she wanted to be there. Yeah. So to make sure she was.
But that's the only reason why.
Right. So I think, that whole storyline is interesting because I kept thinking like all of her stuff is so minor and she's trying so hard to get caught.
Yeah.
And in the big scheme of things, it was so minor to be stuck down in a shoe. So.
Well, I think he clearly was pissed whenever he shut the door because she asked him how long he thinks she'll be in there, and he just slammed the door in her face. I know. But then he took the picture, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's that whole storyline is going to be interesting because now we only have 3 episodes left, and we also have movie night going on, which we haven't had in a while for the ladies.
We haven't. And Tasty gets her pick, and they're watching The Wiz,
which was great because I just saw Diana Ross on Saturday night at the Hollywood Bowl.
Did you?
And she was amazing.
Oh wow, I bet she was. I'm so jealous.
So it was just funny to watch that episode and be like, yeah, because I was just thinking it made me recall her and and also made me think. When I saw her, I was thinking about The Wiz, and I had not seen this episode yet, so that was funny. I've never
seen The Wiz, so apparently I need to see that.
Years ago. It's very out there and campy, but it was fun that she got to pick it, and her whole scene again with Caputo. I love Tasty.
Crystal is her name.
Great. Crystal. See, we were there. It was something with a C. I was like, it's not. I'm like, it's not Claire.
I did not know it, but
it's not Claire.
I kept thinking, I'm like, Ceci, but then it's because I was like, Cesar.
Yeah, Cesar, and
Cesar. Yes.
We also had Suzanne, trying to Cucudio, and now she's kind of regretting and thinking maybe she needs to give her a second chance, and she's trying to set it up at movie night. And you had all this stuff being set up with all these characters that kind of led to movie night there all at once. Everyone seeing Nikki being strung out again, and
Loose Check gave her some weed,
right?
Which I guess is better. I guess it is better than crack or heroin.
But again, it's so odd to me. Like, how do you not get caught by other COs and everything when you reek of it?
Exactly.
I don't know.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me how she can walk around and be reeking of weed to that point to where everyone can smell it on her like that.
Yeah.
So we're dealing with Coates at movie night and Daggett. And
before we talk about movie night, just while we said Nikki, Red is blackballing her with everyone, which I'm like, how did she get the Dominicans to say like no? Like, what is she? Because they're not the type of people that if Red walks into them and says don't sell to her, like they're gonna have to have something.
Yeah.
But then she also says it to freaking Crazy Face.
To Angie.
Yeah. And she's like, what am I going to get in return? She's like, no.
Yeah, that's right. Like, don't even go there.
Right.
Yeah. So, the whole stuff going on there, and obviously the Cucudio thing in the closet with Suzanne didn't go well.
Yeah. Sterling said Cucudio did set Suzanne dirty. And she did. Because she's like, now this is what feels like being left in the forest. I'm like, not really.
Not really. Totally different thing.
And I was like, Suzanne is finally getting this experience. She's one of the only people who we haven't seen have some sort, or she's talked about. She's never had a real experience like that.
Sad.
So I was sad for her.
She was trying to do that second chance thing. It didn't work out. And then, of course, the white girls, the black girls, the tension is boiling over. And I really thought it was going to boil over. And they kind of split it up before, and they canceled the end of movie night.
Yeah.
So that was interesting because I didn't think that.
That's what scares me, because it's just clear where they're going. Like
it's boiling. There's the tensions there.
People were called Darky and Cracker, and that just does not.
No, so it's not going to bode well. No, it's not going to just go away. So at least they got it, taken care of. But that was definitely a kind of a scary moment because you knew there was something that was going to happen there. And then of course Piper gives Blanca the granola bar, and then the CO, and of course she speaks her mind to, again, Piscatell being a jerk, speaks her mind, and then he's like, oh yeah, you're right, I was giving you kind of special treatment, no, you don't deserve it, kind of thing. And then later on, when she gives the granola bar to Blanca, then she too now has to go up there and stand, which is getting out of control.
She's like, what do you do when you have to use the bathroom? That's a very pungent smell.
She's like, breathe through your mouth. So it'll be interesting to see how long she can stay up on the table. And then, of course, before we go, the big thing at the end there with the whole sewer line, again, Piscatella having that power is like, no, just get rid of their garden, which I thought was so cruel to begin with. That was such a horrible thing.
And the greenhouse.
Which the ladies love. And I thought that was terrible. He was being such a jerk because he's having this huge power trip. He's like, no, it's much easier. Let's just do the sewer line through the garden, rip it up. And of course, McDonald comes across
the body.
So
and Red
and Frida,
they're watching. It's just, I mean, we've been wondering the whole time how this is going to come up, and of course it would just come up randomly, not from someone like digging a new trench in the garden, but from them completely digging the entire thing up.
They're ripping the whole thing up for the sewer line,
but he wasn't decomposed at all, which is weird.
Wasn't his bones were somewhat? I think his hand were. I think. I mean, either way. He came across, and there we have it. So that was the end of episode 10, and that was very intense. And now, because we haven't seen 11, 12, or 13, I'm excited to see what's going to happen now.
Me too.
The shiz is getting real.
3 more episodes. It's going to get crazy.
3 more episodes. But in the meantime, before the next episodes, where can they find you?
Yes, y'all can find me everywhere at April Whisenhant.
Yes, and you can find me on the old Twitter at SMan80. That's SMan80. And I'm also going to be on a new show here on AfterBuzz on Trump versus Hillary starting this week. We're going to be covering the GOP convention, and then next week we're covering the Democratic convention. So until next time, same place, everyone.
See you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.